was on TV there. It was kind of a little extra push for me because my father was going to be able to see it. Teammates would come in and they would come tell him and say, hey, your son is going to be a champ one day. The joy that he felt, I could feel it all the way through the phone. And it's a moment that I will never forget for the rest of my life.
A switch happened in my mind.
We go to the judges' scorecards for decision.
2018, when I was away.
The winner by split.
I thought, how about if I knocked all those people out? And boom.
Oh! One of the greatest knockouts you'll ever see! Game bread!
It was a very reassuring moment. Everything I had done up to that point is working. Let's go harder, man.
He has vaulted a UFC superstardom.
And my dad was firmly behind me.
That's so cute, man.
It feels like his entire MMA career has all led to this moment.
I truly felt great to be there. I was just going to go out there and dominate one way or another.
Brilliant performance by Masvadal.
I was one hell of a moment. When I close the book on this chapter in my life, I will be the most violent combat athlete that ever walked on this earth.
Kevin is 9 years old. He said, Mom, I'm gonna be famous one day.
He was like an overnight sensation.
He did tell me he gonna be famous one day. And that's what he did.
You know, I'm not playing games, I'm not acting out here. This is all I do.
All of us have different paths to greatness. We all have to find that one path, and we have to go for it.
We've got some real interesting line movements at the top of this card.
If this is not what legends are made of, I don't know what is.
Welcome to UFC Fight Business. I'm John Brains.
Oh, what?
This is what I pay to see right here, baby. No.
They have been out in full force since 6 p.m. local time, and they are ready to make noise for one of the biggest and best pay-per-views in UFC history. Live from the Five-Star Veterans Memorial Arena here in Texas. USA, this is UFC 261, Usman versus Masvadal 2. UFC 261 is presented by Valley, the official frozen meal of UFC. Never just eat, come out. We also remind you, closed captioning is available for tonight's broadcast. And you can also hear the live event in Spanish within the ESPN Plus application. And with all of that, thank you so much for being with us for UFC 261. I'm John Hannigan. UFC welterweight champion Kamaru Usman is finally getting the respect that he deserves. He's essentially closed the distance on the greatest fighters of all time. 17 consecutive wins. The title defenses continue to mount up. Tonight, for the second time in 3 fights, he draws the real article. Jorge Gamebred Masvidal, a man who is not only a massive draw, as you can see, but a world-class fighter who believes without a shadow of a doubt that the undisputed welterweight title is heading back to Miami, Florida with him. We got our booth back. Joe Rogan, Daniel Cormier. What an atmosphere, what a night.
It just feels crazy. It feels so weird to be in front of 15,000 people, but so right. It felt amazing the moment we got here, and the moment the first fight was announced, when the fighters started walking out, this place erupted. It's been electric, and I'm beyond pumped for this fantastic card we have on pay-per-view.
It's been fantastic. Outside of the fans being back, look at this. I can touch my boys again. We haven't been able to touch each other for a year, but now we're in front of 15,000. The crowd's going crazy. The fighters are going crazy. And guys, we're just getting to the fights that drew the people into the building. The prelims did their thing. Now it's time for the main card to truly explode.
All right, let's set up the main event because it was only 71 days ago when Kamaru Usman successfully defended the title against Gilbert Durinho Burns, and now right back in there against Jorge Masvidal.
In a champion, you look for someone who's dominant, who's special, who's above the rest of the pack. That is Kamaru Usman, and that was him as he was a contender. When he was a contender, no one was calling his name. When he dominated Tyron Woodley to win the title, when he dominated Colby Covington, when he smashed Gilbert Burns, he is a special athlete, a tremendous wrestler with 100% takedown defense, knockout power, and a tremendous will to win. He is truly one of the best welterweights of all time.
But Gamebred is up to the challenge. Jorge Masvidal believes that he is the best fighter in the welterweight division. He was not able to show what he is truly capable of in the first fight. But when you talk about a guy that just loves to fight, you're talking about Jorge Masvidal. He has fantastic striking. He's got great grappling. And what's mostly underrated in the game is the takedown defense of Masvidal. He was able to defend so many takedowns. Fight number 1, if he can replicate that, if he can stay standing, he feels like he has a better chance of adding the UFC title to that BMF title he has at home.
And Masvidal's coaches were very encouraged with a lot of the skill stuff in that first fight, Joe. They didn't have a cardiovascular base upon which to work, but they felt pretty good about some of the things they saw.
Well, particularly the first round. And like I said, I've watched the fight 3 times since. The first round, Masvidal was incredibly effective. Very accurate with his strikes. But of course, we have to take into account that Usman didn't prepare for him, and Usman came into that fight with a nose that had been shattered 2 weeks prior in training.
Right. So we also have 2 other title fights tonight, as you men well know. In the women's divisions at flyweight, Valentina Shevchenko trying to successfully defend against Jessica Andrade. And then, of course, our co-headliner for the strawweight title. I can't set it up without smiling, Zhang Weili taking on Thug Rose Namajunas. Those fights coming up later, but we remind you, the first fight of the night is coming up in a few minutes. Make sure you grab a Modelo from the fridge or scan the QR code to get Modelo delivered in time for tonight's main event. But Joe, Zhang Weili, Thug Rose Namajunas under the lights in a matter of hours.
Spectacular fight. Zhang Weili versus Joanna Jędrzejczyk is probably the greatest fight in the history of the women's division, and tonight has a chance of becoming just as big as that. Rose Namajunas is so special. She's so creative, so accurate, and again, she rises to the occasion. I know that she knows that Zhang Weili is the biggest challenge of her career, and I think tonight will be a really, truly special fight. for it.
The Zhang Weili winning streak is 21. Thug Rose Namajunas is always a picture of focus, but particularly so this week as she tries to hit that rarefied air and become a two-time UFC strawweight champion. All right, women's flyweight title fight tonight, DC, might be the most intriguing matchup in the division's championship history. Shevchenko in defense against Andrade.
Well, this is the first title fight. When Valentina Shevchenko is the first to walk through the curtain with her title, it is a truly special night, and she is phenomenal across the board. But she has a truly unique challenge tonight. In Jessica Andrade. Andrade has wrestling ability. Andrade has power. Andrade will pursue her the entirety of the entire fight in order to get to Valentina Shevchenko. But Valentina is a fantastic counter striker. And does that put Jessica in range to be hurt by this constantly pursuing? There are so many questions in this fight, but this is the biggest challenge to date for the champ from Kyrgyzstan.
And Andrade understands some of the technical things she's going to have to navigate tonight to do the unthinkable, but she is primed, she is primal, and she is ready to try to become the new flyweight queen. All right, last chance to grab a Modelo. Minutes away from the first bout of this epic main card.
Are you ready for some football? No, this kind of football.
Let's go!
Are you ready for the new kid on the block?
Woo! That's me!
Are you ready for all the hair? Are you ready for the woof woof? And for whatever's happening here? Well, the couch is ready, the bench is ready, the city of Cleveland, and your blood pressure all are ready. Are you ready?
The rules of the Octagon are brought to you by Manscaped and the Refined Cologne. Make a bold statement with the signature Manscaped scent, available at manscaped.com now. 3 judges score the fight. The bout duration is 3 5-minute rounds, but for championship fights and all UFC main events, we go 5 5-minute rounds. A 10-point must-scoring system is in effect. The round winner gets 10 points, his or her opponent 9 or fewer. Scoring is based on effective striking and grappling, followed by aggression, and then Octagon control in that order. All right, table is set, folks. We very much appreciate you joining us for this special night. 5 fights on pay-per-view. Let us get to it. Jimmy Crooks, rapid rise up the light heavyweight ladder. From Australia to Jacksonville, where he will attempt to put a dent in the championship hopes of another contender, Anthony Lionheart Smith. A meeting at the crossroads awaits for light heavyweight contenders Anthony Smith and Jimmy Crute, as Lionheart looks to maintain his spot in the top 10. A meeting at the crossroads awaits for light heavyweight contenders Anthony Smith and Jimmy Crute, as Lionheart looks to maintain his spot in the top 10. A meeting at the crossroads awaits for light heavyweight contenders Anthony Smith and Jimmy Crute, as Lionheart looks to maintain his spot in the top 10. Smith and Jimmy Crute, as Lionheart looks to maintain his spot in the top 10. Smith and Jimmy Crute, as Lionheart looks to maintain his spot in the top 10. Smith and Jimmy Crute, as Lionheart looks to maintain his spot in the top 10. walk for his 51st fight as a professional mixed martial arts athlete, 16th in the UFC. The Factory X rep, Anthony Lionheart Smith, of course. Back in 2019, he challenged John Jones for the light heavyweight title, has some very much signature wins over guys like Alexander Gustafsson, Rashad Evans, Shogun Rua, and he believes the best is yet to come. He has dealt with a lot of mental things that have challenged and forged him, and he is all sorts of fired up to make this walk tonight. Tonight's social media posts are brought to you by Amazon Studios. His new film, Tom Clancy's Without Remorse, starring Michael B. Jordan, coming soon, only on Prime Video.
Well, you look at Anthony Smith taking in the trial. This is a guy that fought for a UFC championship, and he fought 3 times in the Apex or in front of no fans. So this must feel good to Anthony. But talking to Anthony, we talk about him maybe being towards the end. Anthony is 32 years old, man. Dude is 32 years old. He's like, I don't understand what people are talking about. He said, I feel like I'm just getting good right now. He said, I feel like my career is just getting started. He knows that Jimmy Crute is a tough kid, but he does not believe that Jimmy Crute has the game to compete with him right now. And Anthony Smith says that we will see an even better version than the guy we saw take rounds off of John Jones.
Well, we're going to learn a lot about Jimmy Crute tonight because Anthony Smith can bring it. We know he can. We know he has so many skills. He's such a good striker. He's so accurate. He's so fantastic on the ground, even off of his back. Tremendous triangles and arm bars. He really has no weaknesses in his game. And when he is on point, he is absolutely one of the very best light heavyweights on planet Earth.
And he received a compliment that meant a lot to him recently from one of his Factory X coaches. They said, you finally look like a Factory X fighter in terms of the footwork, the movement, defensive responsibility. He's got takedowns now, and that's a good sign, man, to see him this happy. You know, he made a lot of walks where he was dealing with things and came out a little bit listless. Anthony Lionheart Smith looks to be in a great place tonight, and you see the versatility in terms of the finishes, the experience, brings a lot to the table. All right, we are ready to go with our main card opener in the UFC's light heavyweight division. Anthony Smith, 32. Jimmy Crute is 25. Smith, the taller man by a couple inches. Both fighters successfully made weight.
In the UFC light heavyweight division, introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, a mixed martial artist. Out of the blue corner, a mixed martial artist holding a professional record, 12 wins, 1 loss. He stands 6 feet 2 inches tall, weighing in at 205 1/2 pounds. Fighting out of Indigo, Victoria, Australia, Jimmy Crute. And now introducing his opponent, fighting out of the red corner, a freestyle fighter holding a professional record, 34 wins, 16 losses. He stands 6 feet 4 inches tall, weighing in at 206 pounds. Fighting out of Omaha, Nebraska, presenting the number 6 ranked light heavyweight contender in the world, Anthony Lionheart Smith. And when the action begins, our referee in charge, Keith Peterson.
The no-nonsense Keith Peterson, our referee. He will also handle the co-main event between Rose Namajunas and Zhang Weili. Brooklyn Wren is here. Anthony Lionheart Smith, a +170 underdog per DraftKings Sportsbook. Jimmy Crute, the -210 betting favorite. And with that, our pay-per-view is underway. Black trunks for Jimmy Crute, white trunks for Anthony Smith.
And Jimmy Crute is big. Look at the size of his legs, man. He's a big dude for the weight class. Strong.
Very interesting that Anthony Smith is an underdog. Considering the amount of experience this guy has, that just shows you how high people are on Jimmy Crute.
But when you watch Jimmy Crute, you understand it. You know, like, Joe, the kid has all the skills. It's just a matter of him trying to stay within himself. He's so young that he still makes mistakes in big spots. If he can get through Anthony Smith, though, it's going to be a matter of big fight after big fight after big fight. You don't beat a guy like Anthony and then fight another prospect. It's only the best from then on.
Oh, big kick to the body.
Nice jab there by Anthony, boy.
Strong low kick by Crute. Very patient here and calm.
Stiff jab from Smith, backs Crute up for a minute.
That was one of the things Anthony said that we would see was better movement. He's just learning to move.
Yes.
He's just learning to set traps and set angles.
Crute with another heavy low kick.
Oh, nice left hand from Lionheart.
Anthony Smith's gonna have to. That jab put him in a chair a little bit.
Yeah, man.
It's so accurate.
Nemiroff, bold character since 1872. 2 minutes have gone by here in round one. It's been the low leg kick for Crute, the jab of Smith.
That low leg kick is heavy, and he's landed quite a few of them.
Anthony's gonna have to pick up on those. I mean, that jab is a piston, though.
It's amazing.
He's already reddening up the eye of Jimmy Crute.
Yeah.
That left eye. Right eye, excuse me.
Oh, man. Look at that jab.
That's beautiful.
Sensational.
You know what's crazy? It was like in MMA back in the day, guys didn't jab enough. It was all power shots. Now you see guys more educated with that jab and that front hand.
Anthony's having a hard time with that left leg, DC.
Well, look at the redness of it.
Yeah, it's red, but it's buckling. It's moving weird.
Yes, you're right.
He hasn't checked one. And because he's fighting behind his jab, he does have to put pressure on that front leg. Because when you throw the jab, you do extend on the front leg to make your arm longer. And Jimmy Crute is just blasting leg kicks into him.
Man, that Smith jab really paying dividends early. Crute all sorts of reddened up here.
Oh, another one. That is a real problem. That Crute low kick. Oh! What a right hand, but Crute just ate it.
They both landed good here, though. Jimmy Crute landed a nice left hook.
Yes.
If Jimmy Crute doesn't pick up on these jabs, though, his face is going to be battered and bruised by the end of the night. And those are the bruises that, as the week goes on, it gets worse. You're bad the night of, but 2-3 days after, you're all purple and blue and beat up. You cannot get jabbed all night like that. Not by a guy like Anthony Smith, who probably weighs 220 in the Octagon tonight.
But much leaner than for his last fight, a win over Devin Clark.
He does look better physically, right, John? That was the first kick that Smith landed, and he dropped it with it.
Crute is, in many ways, fortunate to be able to get that takedown after that.
Well, that reaction looks like something may have been injured a little bit
It
there.
looks like something's wrong right now as he tries to stand up on him.
And Joe, you always say these fights are crazy. Anything can happen, right?
Anything. Especially when you have two giant guys like this throwing bombs at each other. If Anthony Smith can separate and get back up to his feet and move.
Jimmy Crute has to keep this down for 24 seconds.
Yeah.
To get back to the corner and see what's happening.
I want to see what's going on with his leg.
He can't let that figure it out.
His left leg is gone. He's got a drop foot.
Oh, he's bad. Oh,
amazing. Amazing.
His
So
legs look,
fortunate.
I mean, like Henry Cejudo against Demetrius Johnson.
Yes, exactly the same thing. He's got that drop foot going on. Now watch when he gets up. Let's watch when he gets up.
This corner cam, excuse me, brought to you by Bobby on the official.
It's done.
That's it. That's probably going to be it.
Oh, his foot's all messed up. He
can't even stand. Now, we don't know if it's a nerve. If it's a nerve, it might come back.
What is happening?
Well, we're going to see it in the replay. Let's take a look at what the kick was that did the damage. I'm not exactly sure where the kick landed. Let's take a look. Right behind the knee.
Did he take a bad, he must have took a bad step.
I don't think so. I think the nerve got him. Look, because the leg is up. See, look at it. It just went numb. It just stopped working.
Oh, my goodness.
It's the nerve. It was just a perfect leg kick by Anthony Smith.
Okay. He's going to try and keep that leg there. Track.
It looks like it's coming back a little bit, Joe.
Yeah, it looks like it's coming back a little,
not much though.
Oh my God. They're going to stop it.
That is the word. I mean,
the doctor stops the fight. Jimmy Crute on one leg, and it goes into the book, says a TKO for Anthony Smith, boys.
Hey, Anthony Smith landed that shot. But we talked so much about how big a moment that was for Jimmy Crute.
Yeah.
And for it to happen on something freak like that, it's kind of sad, but it's hands off to Anthony.
Look, it's because of the shot. It's an effective technique. Anthony landed it the perfect way, and Anthony had some brilliant moments before that. Beautiful use of the jab, and then dealt with the leg kicks of Crute, and landed one perfect one behind the knee. And look, now Crute's got to be, well, it's still screwed up. Look, as he's walking off, his leg is still giving out on him.
Yeah,
All right, this fight replay is brought to you by Nemiroff, bold character since 1872.
I mean, you watch that beautiful outside leg kick as Crute tried to stand, just deaded the nerve. That is a fantastic technique by Anthony Smith. Crute was able to secure some takedowns, but the leg kick landed right behind the knee. As he goes to step, leg just goes dead. Anthony put that kick exactly where it needs to go. Look at this. Jimmy starts to walk to the official. He said, I'm ready to go. And then the leg just kind of gives out. Referees like the official's like, no, it's over. Couldn't let him go out there on one foot. I mean, this thing is just giving out.
Oh man, that's hard to watch.
Yeah, he can't even stand. So Anthony Smith landed the perfect shot that got him the victory.
And of course, next level toughness from Jimmy Crute, trying to fight on one leg and trying to kind of game face the referee and the doctor, but it is a TKO win for Anthony Lionheart Smith, and a nice moment between combatants after the fact. The official decision is brought to you by Guaranteed Rate. Guaranteed Rate can save you money on your monthly mortgage payment. Visit rate.com to get started. To make it official, here's Bruce Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, at the end of round number 1, the doctor has called a stop to this fight. Declaring the winner by TKO, Anthony Lionheart Smith!
I'm here with the winner, Anthony Smith. First of all, Anthony, congratulations on an excellent performance. You had a fantastic jab tonight, and you were dealing with some heavy low kicks of your own. The Crute had landed on you, but man, one perfectly placed low kick. And let's take a look at it on the big screen. You can see right away, as you landed it, Crute's leg goes all wonky on him. You landed it perfectly?
That's a good one. Yeah, that's a good one. Man, Joe, I've always been a big kicker. I just haven't been setting it up good enough. I think this fight, using the jab to really set my range, rip that kick. Listen, man, Jimmy Crute's a monster. If he'd aimed those low kicks he hit me with down to my calf, we're looking at a different situation right now. He'll learn from this.
Well, it was such a crazy situation, too, because right after you landed the kick, he managed to catch you off balance and get the takedown right away as he was injured. Were you surprised that they stopped it in between rounds? Because he was still trying to compete, even though the leg was kind of not working correctly.
No, he's going to want to go no matter what. I knew as soon as he went down, even if we went to the second round, he wasn't going to be able to take too many more kicks to that leg. So I just wanted to stay safe. Not put myself in any bad positions, trying to get back up. He's a strong kid, man. He's well coached. You got to be safe with guys like that.
And the jab was beautiful tonight. You have to be happy with that.
Yeah, you know, I've been working on it a lot. I showed it a little bit in that Glover Teixeira fight. So we're just building, man. Even at 32 years old, 51 fights in, I'm still out here getting better.
Outstanding, sir. Congratulations. Anthony Smith, ladies and gentlemen. I'm here with Jimmy Crute. Jimmy, you look fantastic. You had some great moments, and then one kick, and the leg goes numb. Tell me what happened.
Man, he was jabbing my face off way too much. I was letting him off way too much, and then I couldn't feel my leg. And then in the second round, I was just going to come out and pull guard because I couldn't stand on it. So I just wanted to say, back home in Australia is Anzac Day, which would be the equivalent to Veterans Day here. So I just want to give a massive shout out. You know, what we do here would not be possible if not for the fallen troops. So, you know, I might have lost today, but they lost their life back then.
Jimmy, you'll be back, I'm sure, better than ever. Thank you very much, sir. Jimmy Crute, ladies and gentlemen.
All right, disappointment on one side, jubilation on the other as Anthony Lionheart-Smith gets a huge win against an up-and-coming prospect. This post-fight snap brought to you by DraftKings. Download any of the DraftKings apps using code UFC, plus make your first deposit for a shot at getting the next pay-per-view fight for free. DraftKings, you can bet on it. And how about that for a number of most light heavyweight finishes since 2018, 6 of them for the decorated finisher, Anthony Lionheart-Smith. Well, DraftKings has you covered. If you want to get in on the action tonight, play free at UFC 261 pools for over $10,000 in prizes. Plus, make your first deposit for a shot at getting the next pay-per-view fight for free. DraftKings, you can bet on it.
Hey UFC fans, it's Jessie Cofield from DraftKings, here to let you know it's not too late to get in on tonight's action. During the fights, anyone can play for a share of $10,000 in prizes by joining DraftKings' free-to-play pool. Plus, if you're one of the first people to sign up and make a deposit using promo code UFC, we'll give you the next pay-per-view fight for free. Download the app, use the promo code to play for $10K, plus a shot at getting the next fight free, and make it rain with the official partner of UFC.
UFC 261, Usman versus Masvidal 2 is brought to you by DraftKings. Play free in UFC 261 pools for over $10,000 in prizes. Plus, make your first deposit for a shot at getting the next pay-per-view fight for free. DraftKings, you can bet on. By Guaranteed Rate. Guaranteed Rate can save you money on your monthly mortgage payment. Visit rate.com to get started. By Modelo Especial. Since 1925, we've proved that it doesn't matter where you come from, it matters what you're made of. Modelo, brewed for those with a fighting spirit. And by Devour, the official frozen meal of UFC. Never just eat, devour. All right, so before we move on, Dana White telling ESPN this morning, and now we can confirm it, the main event for UFC 263, June 12th. Israel Adesanya defending his middleweight title in a rematch with Marvin Vettori. They met once before, 2018, and you see the main card, also the rematch between Figueiredo and Moreno for the flyweight title. Maya and Muhammad highlight an outstanding card at UFC 263. All right, these middleweight rankings brought to you by Hair Club. Let Hair Club help regrow, replace, or restore your hair. Visit hairclub.com/UFC today. Love your hair, live your life. Well, dating to Uriah Hall's unforgettable knockout of Adam Cella on The Ultimate Fighter, the expectations have been lofty, the obstacles significant. But it is all in front of him now, and it is prime time.
All business tonight for the 10th ranked UFC middleweight Uriah Hall. He's won 3 of his last 4 fights, 2 of them by knockout.
Oh, huge right hand! Oh!
He's had a layoff of over a year, not of his doing. He was supposed to fight Jacare Souza, that got pushed back. Clearly, the UFC wants to see him against top flight competition, and now he gets to step inside the octagon for a main event against one of his past idols. Uriah Hall taking on Anderson Silva. Oh, he knocked him down. Big shots on the ground.
Heavy shots. That's it.
Prime time. Uriah Hall with the 4th round stoppage of the legend Anderson Silva. And perhaps there's a new contender in the top 10 of the UFC's middleweight division. You can win the title, is what Anderson Silva said.
You know what, I've been in the sport for a long time. I feel like I solidified my mark. I feel like I'm exactly where I need to be, and I definitely know I can take on the champ. In the meantime, if the UFC want to give me someone, or if they think they can send someone to beat me, that's not a problem. My goals are set, and it remains the same to be world champion.
Uriah has a lot of hype behind him right now, coming off a finish over Anderson Silva. You know, he's looking for his path to the gold. I'm looking to my path to the gold again. And here we are, we cross paths once again. We had fought back in September of 2010. We were both undefeated. The two top prospects in middleweight in the world. And ended up knocking him out with the same left hook that I knocked out Anderson Silva with, a long left hook.
Oh, he got hit!
It was his first loss ever. You know, I went on to become the champion, undefeated world champion.
It is all over! Chris Weidman is the UFC middleweight champion!
He hasn't really gotten to the positions that I was able to get to. I think this is a fight that eats him up inside. Our careers have gone full circle, and it's going to be no difference from 10 years to now.
Nah, player, I'm a different breed right now. I want to knock him out, yeah? I don't want to leave with these judges. I'm trying to knock him out. I'm trying to win. I'm trying to kill. In my mind, I see victory.
Well, I would beat your ass. I will grab him and he will go down to the ground. Once it hits the ground, he's just in my world. Game, set, match.
Former champion Chris Weidman believes that if he fights to the best of his abilities tonight, he can shock the world and go on another title run. He took the past few years to really reflect on his career and made the changes he felt were necessary, specifically in the strength and conditioning department. He told us physically he feels better than ever. The same can be said for his mentality as well, with a move to South Carolina just reinvigorating his love of the game. However, for Chris, there's a very important person missing from the crowd tonight. His father-in-law, Vincent Pecora, who passed away just a couple of weeks ago. Chris has actually been leading the Pecora in the crowd since the 7th grade. He told us emotionally this week that he will do everything he can to honor the memory of the man they called Pops.
All the great Pops and a nice tribute, Megan, the late Vincent Pecora Jr., who would always sit with Chris's wife during his fights. But man, when we sat down with him, Joe, and I know you marveled at how he looked on the scale, he was saying, you know, South Carolina's Pleasantville. He just is in the best frame of mind I have seen him in, really, since the Lyoto Machida fight in 2014, and that could be a scary proposition for Uriah Hall, potentially.
Well, he's made these changes. He's made these changes in terms of his strength and conditioning, his preparation, where he lives, everything. And he also realizes at 36 years of age, this is really the last one. I mean, he's got to be hyper-focused. He's got to have all his I's dotted and his T's crossed. But when he's on, he's still Chris Weidman. And when he was at the top of his game, he was one of the best middleweights of all time. And he was a real monster for a long time in this division.
I mean, outside of having one of my favorite walkout songs in the entire UFC, I love this song, and it just reminds me so much of Chris Weidman. He said that in the last fight against Octagon. He got fatigued. He was wrestling more than he had trained to wrestle. But down in South Carolina, he's wrestling with Chris Honeycutt, John Salter, Tom Lane, and Cal Poly wrestling All-American last year. He's getting the push that he needs to incorporate that fighting style that he used against Akmerov. He feels like he's himself now. He took no time away after the fight. They always said, the great Marvin Hagler, it's hard to get up when you're sleeping on satin sheets, right? When you are rich and we are the man, sometimes you get comfortable. Chris Weidman calls back to the time where he's a champion and doing his best work, and that's how he feels he's at. That's where he feels he's at right now.
And you should hear the guys who train with him talk about him. Anthony Smith said this week, I never trained with anybody as good as that guy in my life. I trained with him for 10 days. I don't think I landed anything, you know? He's that special a guy, a quick learner. Matt Serra talks about him learning jiu-jitsu like it was nothing back in the day. Joe, you know about, in terms of Americans, his jiu-jitsu credentials and all that he's accomplished. Huge, huge fight for him tonight against a decorated striker.
Well, he truly is a special wrestler and a special athlete. And, you know, he's had some pretty significant injuries, including a disc replacement in his neck.
Right.
And that was something, that neck injury that was holding him back for a long time and probably contributed to some lackluster performances.
Well, Weidman says I need at least one more big win to start thinking about some bigger goals. We'll see if he can secure it tonight. We now await the captain. And I say the captain because Uriah Hall now has that captaincy at Fortis MMA as he arrives at his 17th UFC appearance, as close to the title as he has ever been before, Joe. 3 consecutive wins, and really has been trying to live up to that hype ever since the Ultimate Fighter back in 2013.
For Uriah Hall, it's never been physical. It's always been mental. Physically, he's outstanding. I mean, he can do wild stuff inside the octagon, like that jump-spinning back kick KO of Gegard Mousasi is one of the best in the business. When Uriah Hall's on point, he's sensational. He has incredible timing. He has a lightning-fast jab, incredible striking, both with his hands and his feet. He can put it all together tonight. He can get redemption from that 11-year-ago KO loss.
So, Daniel, their first fight, September 24th, 2010. And Chris Weidman gets a message on Facebook from a girl from his high school that said, hey, be careful going in there with Uriah Hall. And then, of course, he took Uriah Hall's bow, knocked him out. A lot has changed since, but that was a funny story he told us.
Absolutely. And for Chris Weidman to go out there and knock out Uriah Hall, when Uriah Hall was a big, scary guy, really did sit in a bad way with Uriah Hall. Uriah Hall hates that. But when I talked to Uriah Hall the other day, the guy has matured so much since he got to the UFC. Everything around him was so big that Uriah was paying attention to it. Now he's so locked in, man. He's finally got his career going in the direction that he's always wanted it to go. And I believe that this captainship at his gym,
pounds, fighting out of Fort Mill, South Carolina, by way of Baldwin, New York, presenting the former UFC middleweight champion, the All-American Chris Weidman. And now introducing his opponent, fighting out of the red corner, a Muay Thai kickboxer holding a professional record, 17 wins, 9 losses. He stands 6 feet tall, weighing in at 185 pounds. Fighting out of Queens, New York, presenting the number 9 ranked middleweight contender in the world, Uriah Hall. And when the action begins, our referee in charge, Herb G.
One of 2 main card assignments for the fan favorite Herb Dean. Luciana Andrade getting us started for round 1. Between familiar foes here, Chris Weidman and Uriah Hall. Blue trunks for Weidman, black trunks for Uriah Hall. On Monday, Hall was the favorite. He closes a slight plus. On Monday, Hall was the favorite. He closes a slight plus 105 betting underdog per DraftKings Sportsbook. Chris Weidman has snapped his left leg.
Oh my God.
oh my God,
Just awful.
Oh my God.
And Uriah Hall.
Oh my God.
oh no!
The first kick he threw.
Did you see?
I did.
Did you believe that happened against him with Anderson? And then this happens to him now.
And the way he threw it, you hear that crack. I was about to say, wow, what a hard leg kick. And
Where
the
did it
crack
land?
was actually the ball. It must have been checked.
But where did it land?
We're gonna get a look at it. I mean, it might have been the knee. I'm not
Oh, my
sure.
goodness.
But man, his leg just folded in half.
He
My
took
God.
a step back to see that happen in the last fight,
Incredible.
With Jimmy Crute's leg, and now this with Chris Weidman is crazy.
Only 3 times I've ever seen that happen ever in the Octagon.
And of course, once, as you guys sort of referenced, Chris Weidman was on the other side of it against Anderson Silva. The medical personnel is attending to Chris. And
we've never seen it like this. First kicks thrown, whack.
Oh my God, that's crazy.
Crazy. Unbelievable. I was so looking forward to this fight too. And look at Weidman is in agony.
Well, of course he is. I mean, that was a bad break.
So.
Oh yeah, I'm not shocked.
Oh yeah, that was bad. That was bad.
And Chris is sort of dealing with the pain right now. We are gonna show it to you a couple times, and I'm gonna tell you that viewer discretion is advised. We're gonna show it to you a couple times, and that's gonna be it.
Can Joe watch it?
You don't need to watch it.
And tell me what happened.
Here it is. Watch this.
Joe, where did it land?
Oh my God.
Joe, where did it land?
Right below the knee. Right below the knee. And it immediately snapped his neck. Come on, take a look at it here. Look at this.
I'm not going to look, Joe. Just tell me.
It mirrored what happened with him and Anderson.
Oh, God.
Oh, my God. It's the same thing?
Yeah,
was it the same thing?
It was the same thing. It was just a different leg. It was a different way through it.
Oh, my goodness.
Instead of the inside, it was the outside, but he checked it. I mean, it landed perfect. It landed right below the knee, the worst place it could land. Exactly where Anderson's leg landed on him, right below the knee, the thickest, densest part of the bone, and his shin just shattered, and then he stepped on it.
Yeah.
And so it bent backwards, and my God.
A lot of fans here are filling up with tears behind us as they try to get Chris Weidman.
They're going to put him on a stretch and roll him over.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
It's hard
and try
to watch.
stabilize.
Long time to recover from, if you ever come back from.
And
it could be over. Like you could.
I mean, Tyrone Spong, I don't think that was the last time he ever fought in kickboxing again, when it happened with him with Gokhan Saki. Corey Hill, way back in the day.
Yeah.
That was the first one I ever saw like that. And then, of course, Anderson, and now Chris Weidman. But I think the Chris Weidman one was more shocking because it was the first kick. Literally nothing had happened. Chris lands one hard kick, and his leg snaps in half. I mean, just crazy.
Just a freak injury, and you know how hard Chris Weidman has worked, of course, since September, every day in the shape of his life, and certainly for Uriah Hall, some disappointment. Wanted this one so badly, and an embrace there with Ray Longo, who's got to just be so upset.
Yeah, I mean, just disappointed and hurt for his guy, right? Those guys at Longacera are a family, and his new team is a family. So to see Chris put all this work in and for it to end in this way is very unfortunate. You know, Anthony Schmidt landed the kick that hurt Jimmy Crute. Chris Weidman landed a beautiful kick, but you know, this game is for real, John.
There's no doubt.
Everybody talks like this is they're playing a game. This is not a game.
You're not guarding the rim.
No, you're in the octagon. This is real life, and things like this happen. It's happened a couple times now, and it's so unfortunate, but God dang it, man.
And for us, these are our friends, your colleagues.
Yeah.
It's a very difficult thing to digest. The official decision is brought to you by Guaranteed Rate. Guaranteed Rate can save you money on your monthly mortgage payment. Visit rate.com to get started. To make it official, here's Bruce.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Herb Dean has called a stop to this contest at 17 seconds of the very first round. Due to injury, the winner is by TKO, Uriah Hall.
All right, I'm here with the winner, Uriah Hall. Good to see you, sir. This was such an important fight for you, such an important moment for you. You've been on this win streak, you've been looking fantastic, and you had this opportunity to avenge a loss from 11 years ago. Obviously, this is not what you wanted to happen. Give me your thoughts on what this feels like for you right now.
I got nothing but respect for Chris Weidman. He's truly one of the best. It is a crazy story that he was the first man I fought that defeated me, that introduced me to fear. I didn't know what fear was. I was scared of wrestling. And during that time, you know, we went different paths. He was the first one, defeated Anderson. I was the last. And it's just crazy how we ended up here again. I mean, I wanted to, you know, put out a great performance, but man, I feel so bad for him. I hope he's okay. I wish his family well, if you guys are watching. It's a sucky part of this sport. It's a hurt business. And believe me, they don't see the fight outside the octagon, but I got nothing bad to say about him, and I hope he recovers. And hey, whatever rank I am in the future, if he gets well, I owe him this fight, and I hope he can come back from it. You're still one of the best, Chris.
Well said, sir. Thank you very much. Uriah Hall, ladies and gentlemen.
And could Uriah Hall have possibly handled that situation any better? Dripping with class, acknowledging the family. That's a class act right there.
I mean, John, he has matured so much to the point that, you know, his peer. When your peers honor you with that C,
yes,
right? That is a big deal. And for Uriah Hall to show that in that post-fight speech, in his actions in the gym, it shows that he's a different man. And guess what? As he matures, and as he continues on this journey to realize who he is within himself, he'll just continue to find more and more success going forward in his career.
All right, we must move on to this championship triple header with some heavy hearts. These locker room shots. Before we get there, excuse me, 3 weeks from now, we'll be in Houston, Texas, Toyota Center, UFC 262, main event, the all-time submission king, Charles Oliveira facing knockout artist Michael Chandler for the vacant UFC lightweight title, UFC 262, May 15th, available for purchase only on ESPN+. All right, these locker room shots are brought to you by B3, the official protein snack of UFC. So 4 times, Kyrgyzstan's Valentina Shevchenko has successfully defended her UFC flyweight championship. She spent the last 2 weeks here in Jacksonville, as usual, leaving no stone unturned in pursuit of future greatness. Tonight, though, for the first time as champion, she draws someone who has also been there and done that, the former strawweight champ, Jessica Andrade, one of the most exciting fighters in the sport. And although the magnitude of this challenge is not lost on her, she vows she will find a way to win and join that exclusive club of UFC fighters to win a title in 2 divisions. Michael Chandler.
He can put himself in position for a championship fight.
Oh! Michael Chandler! Round 1 knockout.
Surprise, surprise! There's a new king in the lightweight division!
Michael Chandler will fight for a UFC championship against Charles Oliveira.
Oliveira, he is on a serious rise.
You came to fight with the wrong one. That's a mistake in the long run.
The most submissions in UFC history.
He is a finisher.
I am the finisher. You started, I finished it. I am the finisher. As soon as you started, I finished it.
Michael Chandler is a savage with knockout power.
Let's go get that title.
Charles Oliveira!
He's not just a submission threat. On the feet, this man is super dangerous.
Longest active win streak in the UFC.
Nate Diaz!
I'm back. I'm here to fight. Nate Diaz is one of the biggest superstars in the sport.
He loves to scrap.
I'm a warrior. I'm here to kill and be killed.
I'm coming to win.
Leon Edwards is incredible. His striking is world class. He's a very dangerous man. England's best hope for a UFC champion. We got a fight, ladies and gentlemen. 2 of the very best.
I love everything about that fight. Sold out with 17,000 fans.
Here we come, Houston.
Here we come. Houston is right when we return to May 15th. Pay-per-view, and of course with Khabib Nurmagomedov vacating the UFC lightweight title, it will be Charles Oliveira and Michael Chandler for the vacant lightweight crown. And of course that is not all welterweight co-main event, Nate Diaz and Leon Edwards, but huge opportunity for Chandler in his second UFC appearance against Charles Oliveira, who's been in the UFC since he was 20 years of age.
I mean, you want to talk about a guy in Charles Oliveira who's had ups and downs, but has reached a level in his last few fights, particularly in the Tony Ferguson fight, that's just sensational. He looks so good. He's so complete. But Michael Chandler is a beast of a man. He really is. He's so explosive. He's so fast and powerful. He's got such a phenomenal skill set. I mean, there's a lot of lightweights that are very pissed off this guy gets a shot at the title in his second fight. But when you look at what he did to Dan Hooker, it's not outside the realm of possibility. I get it. I mean, I like it. And especially now that Conor and Dustin are rematching, it makes sense. It's an amazing fight, as is Leon Edwards and Nate Diaz.
And of course, a big opportunity for fellow lightweights Ferguson and Dariush on that card. And here are your UFC 262 prelims. A lot of big names on here as well. Jacare, Jack Hermanson taking on Edmund Shabazian. And at flyweight, big fight for the men. Matt Schnell taking on Rogerio Bontorin. It all goes down May 15th. Prelims, 8 p.m. Eastern on ESPN and ESPN Plus, leading into our pay-per-view at UFC 262. So, here was the scene on Tuesday. The UFC Roadshow taking over the VyStar Veterans Memorial Arena. As you see the time-lapse on the Octagon and everything else going up. Quite an undertaking for our crew, all the wonderful men and women unheralded behind the scenes, getting us ready to put on a show in front of a live audience for the first time in a long time. Some incredible visuals there as the Octagon is officially back open for business. All right, headliners have made their way to the arena. The men on the marquee. There is Kamaru Usman, 18-1 as the UFC welterweight champion, and unblemished 13-0 inside the Octagon. And there, of course, the man who in large part helped sell out this arena, Jorge Gamebred Masvidal, 50th professional fight, and he will try to leave as the undisputed UFC welterweight champion. All right, these flyweight rankings brought to you by Hair Club. Let Hair Club help regrow, replace, or restore your hair. Visit hairclub.com/UFC today. Love your hair, live your life. Well, no one has come close to dethroning Valentina Shevchenko since she won the flyweight title in 2018. Tonight, though, many believe she'll face her toughest test to date in hard-charging Brazilian Jessica Andrade.
What can you say about Valentina Shevchenko? Legendary fighter, a generational talent.
She is one of the best martial artists on the planet Earth. She really has no weakness in her game. Her technique is so crisp. Whether it's her kicks, her takedowns, her submission.
There's the tap!
She's an ice-cold killer, and if she connects, you're in trouble.
Wow! She has dominated everybody from the moment she got a hold of this championship.
In this level of the competition, there is no weak opponents. Everyone has their game, and my goal as a champion to break their game.
Oh, that's it! And still the best in the world by a mile! Valentina Shevchenko!
What a dominant performance.
When you feel that they are starting to break, you have to help him to break completely. This is what I'm gonna do.
In a lot of people's minds, the fight is done before they even get into the Octagon. It's just, how is she gonna do it? But someone always rises. Valentina Shevchenko is waiting for that someone to emerge. But it's going to take a special athlete.
Shevchenko's at a place in her career now where she needs an opponent that people think actually has a chance of beating her, and I think we all know that Andrade does.
A Valentina realmente ela é uma campeã dominante, né? Vem mostrando isso a toda luta que ela faz. Mas algum defeitinho ela tem e a gente tem que usar isso contra ela, né?
The scariest 5'1" package on the planet.
Eu acredito que a minha agressividade, a força, as entradas de queda, o tempo inteiro pra cima, isso aí vai conseguir anular o jogo dela.
When I think of Jessica Andrade, one word springs to mind: violence.
Dar o meu melhor sempre e acabar as lutas assim, de formas que ninguém acredita que vai ser, né?
She hurt to the body. Oh, she showed herself there. Whoa. And that is it. In her flyweight debut.
She just stopped the #1 ranked fighter in this division in the first round.
Look at the way that Valentina did against Octagon. It took her a few rounds. It took Andrade a couple of minutes.
She might be in that sweet spot at 125, and that power, that game-changing power, that's a nice little weapon to have against Valentina Shevchenko.
She's a real problem for Shevchenko.
Speaking is one thing, but to feel the power is different. She thinks that she is strong enough. Let her believe in this, because she's not.
Oh! Valentina Shevchenko
she is a straight-up assassin.
A lot of Brazilian fighters are defecting to the United States for their training. Jessica Andrade has stayed true to her roots in Rio de Janeiro, training at Paraná Valley Judo. More than 20 women are training under that roof, some of which have made it to the UFC like Carol Rosa, but she is an agent of change in her region, and in terms of her UFC success, Joe, tonight she becomes the 24th fighter to challenge for a belt in a second division.
Well, she's a powerhouse of a woman, and now as she enters into this fight for this title shot against Valentina Shevchenko, she has a world of experience, both in world championship fights and in 3 different divisions. She is one of the most experienced in that regard fighters in all of MMA. It's very rare that you get to compete in 3 different divisions. But what she has shown is ridiculous firepower, outstanding physical strength in terms of her ability to hoist opponents up in the air and dump them the way she did with Thug Rose. She's got a will to close the distance and wade through the fire to get to a world-class opponent like Valentina Shevchenko. And she presents some very unique challenges to the champ.
Tonight's social media posts are brought to you by Amazon Studios' new film, Tom Clancy's Without Remorse, starring Michael B. Jordan, coming soon, only on Prime Video.
You know, Jessica Andrade is a forward pressure fighter, but she understands that if she goes straight into Valentina Shevchenko, she's going to run into the counter strikes. So she's done a lot of work on creating angles, not only in a straight line, making sure that she's circling away from the kicks of Valentina Shevchenko. Very specific training for this challenge. They seem to have her locked in. Let's see if she can deliver on all the things that she told us earlier in the week.
19th UFC appearance for the former UFC strawweight champion Jessica Andrade. This is her 4th UFC title fight, of course the first at 125 pounds. As some of you know, UFC debut in 2013 came up at bantamweight. Now she will try to realize a title in the second division. So here is the cold-blooded assassin, also known as the UFC flyweight champion, Valentina Bullet Shevchenko. And Daniel, her appetite for well-roundedness as a human being and as an athlete is something I have never seen before. They believe, her team does, they have a faster, stronger, better version than the one we saw several months ago.
I mean, how scary is that thought? That Valentina Shevchenko today is better than she was before. Now, one thing that was very interesting that Valentina said was, she doesn't train multiple times a day. She goes for 2 to 3 hours, once a day only. Everything she has to do, all of her preparation, is done in that one training camp because she so strongly believes in her rest, in her recovery. So she works as hard as she can in that camp. That training session goes on and recovers. Every now and again she'll run separately, but nothing more. Valentina Shevchenko is so locked in. Her team and the people that are around her feel as though she's better. And if she shows that tonight, we are in for a fantastic performance.
That's very interesting in terms of her preparation because it's unique to her, but when you look at the success that she's had, it's very difficult to argue with anything that she does. Whatever that brings her to the Valentina Shevchenko, the KO Jessica I with that head kick, I'm all in.
Right.
You know, who's to argue?
Well, you know, Joe, I'm sorry, but you know how people talk about laying off the sparring, doing so many things different. Maybe Valentina's taking it to the next level. We're really spending more time wrestling.
Yeah, do it all in one moment or one group of hours and then the rest of the day, eat and sleep.
Yeah.
You know, who knows? I mean, only time will tell, and I think it varies depending upon the athlete. It varies on your age, but either way, what she is right now is one of the most efficient assassins we've ever seen inside the Octagon. So dominant, and it's such a pleasure to watch. If you're a fan of technique, Valentina Shevchenko is a real treat to watch.
And we must acknowledge her underrated head coach, Pavel Benetov, as well. All right, these fight odds brought to you by DraftKings, playing free UFC 261 pools on DraftKings for your shot at over $10,000 in prizes. Don't wait. Download any DraftKings app and use code UFC when you sign up. DraftKings, you can bet on it. So some previous odds for the fights involving Valentina Shevchenko. You see as high as minus 1,700 at times, minus 2,500 in some spots against Jennifer Maia. Tonight, less prohibitive, minus 455 as she takes on the former champion, Jessica Andrade. All right, the first of 3 title fights here in Jacksonville now beckons. Let us get to the tail of the tape for the UFC Women's Flyweight Championship. The incumbent, Valentina Shevchenko, out of Kyrgyzstan, is 33. The challenger, the #1 contender, Jessica Andrade, out of Brazil, is 29. You see the discrepancy in height. 4.5-inch reach advantage resides with Valentina Shevchenko. All right, now for the intros, here is Bruce Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, this championship bout is sanctioned by the Florida State Athletic Commission. Our 3 judges scoring this contest at Octagon side are Sally Amato, Chris Lee, and Troy Wickapaw. When the action begins, a referee in charge of the Octagon, Dan Mergliata. And now, this fight is 5 rounds for the undisputed UFC Flyweight Championship of the World. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, a Muay Thai kickboxer holding a professional record, 21 wins, 8 losses. She stands 5 feet 1 1/2 inches tall, weighing in at 124 1/2 pounds. Fighting out of Niterói, Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, presenting the #1 ranked flyweight contender in the world, the challenger, Jessica Andrade. And now introducing the champion, fighting out of the red corner, a Muay Thai kickboxer holding a professional record, 20 wins, 3 losses. She stands 5 feet 5 inches tall, weighing in at 124 1/2 pounds. Fighting out of Bishkek, Kyrgyzstan, presenting the reigning, defending, undisputed UFC Flyweight Champion of the world, Valentina Shevchenko!
All right, ladies, read through the rules of the locker room. I want you to obey my commands at all times. I want you to protect yourselves at all times. If you want to touch gloves, do it now. Good luck to both of you.
All right, folks, here we go. 12 pounds of UFC gold on the line. Joanna Jędrzejczyk chiming in, the former strawweight queen, with experience against both of these women.
Let's go, ladies.
All right, flyweight title fight is underway. Nemiroff bold character since 1872. Andrade is in yellow. Shevchenko in the black and gold, as befits a champion.
Watch Andrade try to circle off to her left to make sure she's away from the left kick of Valentina Shevchenko. We've seen Valentina fold people with the body kicks and then put them to sleep with the high kicks. She's in that classic Muay Thai stance, up on her toes, bouncing, trying to land.
Crowd voicing its early support for the champion, Shevchenko.
For Andrade, it's going to be very difficult to close the distance.
and to figure out how to close the distance, whether it's going to be with kicks, whether it's going to be with, look at that, beautiful 1-2.
So for Andrade, Joe, you know she likes to kind of bulldog you. But if she can't bulldog you, how is she going to win a technical striking battle against Valentina Shevchenko? And therein lies the problem. Because when you try to bulldog Valentina, she's such a great counter striker. But if you stay at range, she will just pick you apart.
Well, they take down for Valentina.
Immediate takedown right in the side control. And that is the thing with Valentina. She can do it all.
Yep. And that was one of the areas that she was happy that people saw Jennifer Maia hold her down, so that they have this false sense of her not being able to wrestle.
Right.
She said, I like them to think they have an advantage, but they don't have any. None. She feels like they have no advantage.
Just as calculated with her words as her actions, but not a great sign for Andrade early, getting taken down with relative ease twice.
Let her go and look for the high kick on the break. But you're dead right, DC. The thing is closing the distance. She's running into a buzzsaw. And she's running into one of the most accurate counter strikers in the game. And look at her footwork and motion. It's just, she's always in position to launch. Oh, look at that.
You got to think, Valentina stood for 25 minutes with Amanda Nunes.
Yes, twice.
Twice. 15 minutes the first time and then 25 the second time.
Amazing.
She can stand with anybody.
And she can stand with, that's the biggest knockout puncher in the history of the sport in women's MMA.
Andrade investing in the body here early. You saw that huge body shot that closed the show against Chushkagian her last time out. And DC, she wanted these clinch situations.
You can see Andrade's right eye already is getting black. It's getting blacked up already.
Yeah.
Valentina's just taking her down at will. She looks so much stronger than her in the clinch.
That's one of those areas where I think people underestimate Valentina, is her size. She is massive for 125, but she's just a bit too small to go up to 135. But at 125, she's huge.
Oh, she's on the chin already. Andrade is in real trouble.
Yeah, she's in trouble, but the angle seems to be a little bit off good. Andrade is trying to stay calm, stay patient.
Nice job by the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt Andrade to get out for now. 90 seconds of the round.
What a start for the champion.
My goodness.
And it just shows how unpredictable her game is. You know, you think that she's just going to stand and strike. She clearly had an advantage in her distance and her timing, and decides, nope, I'm just going to ragdoll you.
Shevchenko mixing up the knees. Nice cutting angle on that one.
I love the way Shevchenko is controlling and hiding her right arm. By hiding her right arm, it never allows Andrade to turn and circle back into her. If she starts to get shallow on that left side, Andrade can start to circle and not be at risk to be put back down on her back. If Andrade tries to reach all the way over, Valentina can just bear hug her and put her right back on the mat. Right here. She should just squeeze now, step and squeeze, and she'll put her right back down. There it is. You can't reach back without her hiding that right arm deep.
And look how beautifully she steps over with her right leg to pass on the side control.
5 takedowns in round 1 for Shevchenko.
We have never seen her wrestle this much, John. She's never been so wrestle-focused early in a fight.
She knows you like wrestling.
I know, I love it too, man. Let's see how it affects Andrade going forward. Because I'm sure Jessica didn't expect that either.
All right, this corner cam is brought to you by Body Armor, the official sports drink of UFC. Grab one today at Casey's.
Okay, how's your guess? She knows she sees you're dangerous, but you need to think. You need to think. She's doing this game because she knows you're dangerous. She can't think I'm thinking that you think she's going to start grabbing. You got to keep your hands up. Don't do what she wants.
I mean, right here you see she grabbed the leg, shoot her head out to the opposite side to put herself in a double leg position, goes up to the body lock, uses her length in order to put her down. And once again, controlling the seat belt, keeping that arm off to the side, allowing her to get takedowns, shows of her striking. Right here, she lands knees to the thighs of Jessica Andrade. Just totally controlled that round. A fantastic start for the champion, Valentina Shevchenko.
The unauthorized reproduction or distribution of this copyright work is illegal and punishable under law. Round 2 here of a possible 5, Shevchenko and Andrade.
She's got such a beautiful check hook off the right hand as well. She showed that in the Hollywood. My goodness.
Crowd appreciating the volume takedowns and the style points, high amplitude there, 6 for 6.
I mean, this is where we thought Andrade would have the advantage by trying to wrestle Valentina Shevchenko, but she's getting beat in this department.
I think Valentina's making a point here. And it's what she said coming into this fight. She said, this girl has nothing for me.
Yep.
And I think she wants to show her that by beating her at the only area where we thought Andrade might have an advantage.
It was a big if, but Andrade said to us Thursday, if I can work the clinch, tire her out a little bit, work my takedowns, but nothing. I mean, huge strength discrepancy.
I mean, Valentina seems so much bigger and stronger than Jessica Andrade. And I really do believe that it starts with her inability to pursue. She really needs to be pursuing in order to wrestle offensively, to land her strikes. She's constantly at range, and when they engage on Valentina Shevchenko's terms.
And what's terrifying here for Andrade is she knows if Valentina doesn't employ this strategy, she's even at more of a disadvantage.
Yes. Because she's getting pieced up on the feet.
And she could clearly get knocked out.
Under 3.5 here to go round 2. It has been all Shevchenko thus far.
And other than Amanda Nunes, she is one of the real one-strike knockout artists in women's MMA.
Here we go. This is where Andrade shines at times. Let's see if she can lift like she does so many others to get takedowns here. You saw her try to get that lift off. Shevchenko did a really good job of forcing her leg back to the mat. Wow.
Immobile.
Nothing.
That's big. That's big. That is very discouraging if you're Jessica Andrade.
If you're Andrade, DC, and you go in with a clear strategy and game plan, do you deviate given the way things have played out?
I think she needs to go back more pressure or forward pace. Right, look at this. The wrestling is not working. She's dominating her there. She has to change it up. She's got to mix it up. If she gets to the end of the round, she has to go forward and try to attack Valentina. Get Valentina fighting on her heels.
Oh, look at this. Crucifix. This is terrible.
Just like Chikagian. Same position. And now she'll just start to batter her away slowly. Just dropping punches.
Priscilla Cachoeira can relate to this treatment in Valentina's flyweight debut.
John, I was grabbing my paper and trying to find her name. But I mean, this is exactly what happened to Priscilla. And Valentina is going to beat her up.
Yeah, it looks like she opened her up with one of those elbows.
Big Dan
Stop it,
looking
come
very
here.
closely.
As it should be.
That's it.
And still, the UFC flyweight champion, is there anyone who has anything for her at 125?
What a dominant performance.
Massive performance. Just massive.
Absolutely incredible that she was able to dispose of the credentialed Jessica Andrade in this manner.
I mean,
statement.
Just a different planet to the people that are challenging her. I mean, we thought Jessica Andrade was her most difficult challenge, and she buzzed right through her.
All right, let's take a look back at the action. This fight replay is brought to you by Nemerock, bold character since 1872.
Here we see the takedown. I mean, just one of many. Literally every time she clinched up and fully committed to a takedown, she was able to achieve it. Now here's the end. She cinches up this crucifix position and just batters her with punches, then finally gets to a position where she can elbow. And Big Dan had seen enough. This is just horrific over and over and over again. she's slamming elbows and fists into the face of Jessica Andrade. Almost a merciful stoppage.
Yeah.
Because this fight was just a one-sided beatdown from the start. This woman is fantastic. I mean, she really is something truly special.
Joe, Andrade wasn't going anywhere. I mean, and you know how difficult it is to get to a crucifix position and finish it in a championship fight. Valentina Shevchenko is next level.
The real question is, who's next?
Well, right, and there are certainly contenders out there like Lauren Murphy who are chomping at the bit to get their opportunity, but I think also thinking, man, what is it going to take? What exactly is my strategy going to be? The official decision brought to you by Guaranteed Rate. Guaranteed Rate can save you money on your monthly mortgage payment. Visit rate.com to get started. Here's Bruce Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Dan Murgliata has called a stop to this contest at 3 minutes, 19 seconds of round number 2. Declaring the winner by TKO and still the undisputed UFC flyweight champion of the world, Valentina Bullet Shevchenko.
I'm here with the winner and still champion, Valentina Shevchenko. Valentina, a complete dominant performance on your part, and maybe unexpectedly to a lot of people, you chose to grapple.
This is I like to surprise people. They're not waiting from me some techniques, but here I am. I can do everything.
You can do everything, but was that your plan coming into this fight?
My plan was come, enter to the Octagon, and destroy my opponent. Sorry, Jessica, but it was my plan.
Well, you executed that plan to perfection. When you got her down into the crucifix position and you started landing those punches, it was the beginning of the end. Were you surprised it was stopped when it was?
No, yeah, actually, I feel that it's gonna be it after I saw the blood, after an elbow. So I saw the blood, and then I heard the voice of referee. So to defend Jessica, and I knew I have to go harder to stop the fight.
Now, Valentina, you're in this incredible position where you're such a dominant champion, but there's not a real clear contender for your throne. How do you feel about that, and how do you approach that?
Here I am. I'm ready for anyone. Anyone who go. Everyone is asking to fight me. Here I am.
Come get some. I said, come get some. You know what I'm saying? No. Come get some. Like.
Some, yes.
Some, yes.
Get some, but I want to say one thing, that while my opponent is trying to figure out what is the weakness of mine, don't waste your time. There is no one.
No weakness. Well, Valentina, it is always an honor to call your fight. Thank you very much and congratulations.
Я хочу передать привет всем моим болельщикам, кто меня поддерживает, моим партнерам по рематч, беттинг-компании по рематч, и моему, конечно, солнечному Кыргызстану. Я очень вас люблю, чувствую вашу поддержку на расстоянии. Спасибо, что болеете. Y también quiero agradecer a todos mis fans que hablan español, Latinoamérica, donde sea. Aquí en Florida es muy grande community, siempre me siento como en la casa. Gracias por todo su amor, gracias por su apoyo. Muchas gracias a todos. Gracias.
One of the greatest martial arts on earth, ladies and gentlemen, Valentina Shevchenko. I'm here with Jessica Andrade. Jessica, tell me your thoughts on this fight. What was unexpected?
Bom, eu não esperava que a Valentina fosse me surpreender com as quedas, mas eu vim com a estratégia montada, infelizmente não deu. Eu prometi mais agressividade e fui mais passiva, mas era o primeiro round, então a gente sabe que com uma luta de 5 rounds a gente tem que trabalhar essa questão do gás. Mas eu tenho certeza que eu vou voltar melhor ainda e eu vou ter a oportunidade de lutar pelo cinturão de novo.
Yeah, that's the thing. We were expecting to keep the fight standing a little bit more. You know, we knew how good she was at takedowns, how good she was at top control, but we thought it was going to be able to develop a little bit more on the stand-up. But overall, it wasn't a surprise. But, you know, we just didn't expect her to do it as much. But that's the thing. Go back to the drawing board, get better, keep working, and I'll come back to fight again.
We're sure you'll see it again. Thank you very much, Jessica. Always a pleasure. Jessica Andrade, ladies and gentlemen.
Thanks, Jacksonville. I love you.
What a microphone moment for Valentina Shevchenko. I love that Joe got her to say, come get some. And in terms of the weaknesses, DC, there are not any that I can see. Well, the celebs are out. Jake Paul is here. And the newly minted Super Bowl champion, Antonio Brown. Some very expensive neckwear. Nick Diaz is in the building. That should get the crowd going. Also with us tonight, a lot of UFC royalty, the former UFC interim lightweight champion, Mr. Highlight himself, Justin Gaethje. Joined tonight by a couple of guys who are the UFC 261 Best Seats Sweepstakes winners. And if you want to join us for UFC 262 in Houston, don't miss your chance for you and a guest to attend the show at the sold-out Toyota Center. Go to UFC.com/bestseats for more details, official rules, and enter for a chance to win. Restrictions apply. All right, so a lot of people betting via the DraftKings Sportsbook tonight. And if you bet on Valentina Shevchenko, you cashed. If you had her by TKO, she was at plus 180. I know a lot of people liked that fight to be under 4.5 rounds. Valentina Shevchenko cashes, as she has done every time she has competed, at 125 pounds.
Amazing.
All right, coming up next, it will be the second of 3 title fights. The UFC Strawweight Championship between Zhang Weili and Thug Rose Namajunas. And with more on that, here is Megan Ali.
Hey, thank you, John. Well, we have been patiently waiting for this co-main event matchup, and it has finally arrived. The strawweight title is on the line as champion Zhang Weili looks to defend it once again after participating in one of the greatest fights ever last March. Her incredible 21-fight win streak speaks volumes about her dominance, and she's fully confident she'll return to China with the belt in tow. But former champ Rose Namajunas is intent on returning to the top of the division. With a renewed focus and a clear vision, Thug Rose is ready to return to the top of the strawweight mountain. John, this is a phenomenal championship matchup at 115, and it's just moments away. Back to you guys at the Octagon.
All right, Megan, thank you. No overstating our enthusiasm for the fight that is upon us now. As you see some of the foot traffic there on St. George Street here in Jacksonville, Florida, most populated city across the Sunshine State. So Jacksonville tonight, Las Vegas next Saturday. And what a main card this is. Big one at bantamweight between a couple of ranked guys, Merab Dvalishvili, Cody Stamann. Sean Strickland is back against Chris Jotko. Co-main event against, at featherweight, Giga Chikadze and Cub Swanson. And your main event, light heavyweight eliminator of sorts, 3rd ranked Dominic Reyes, 5th ranked Yuri Prochazka. All right, these fight odds are brought to you by DraftKings. Playing free UFC 261 pools on DraftKings for your shot at over $10,000 in prizes. Don't wait. Download any DraftKings app and use code UFC when you sign up. DraftKings, you can bet on it. A lot of two-way action on this fight. It has not moved much during fight week. Zhang Weili, a minus 200 betting favorite. Rose Namajunas entrenched at plus 165. Well, Thug Rose has been waiting patiently for her chance to regain the UFC strawweight title. Tonight is the night she attempts to take the belt back from China's finest, champion Zhang Weili.
I'm extremely excited to be fighting for a title again. Ever since getting dropped on my head, to rematching Andrade, to recovering from that fight, it's just been on my mind ever since.
In the center of the octagon, as they exchange strikes, we're going to find out a lot. Whether or not she can keep Joanna's rhythm. Oh! Huge right hand by the champion.
Oh, that was nasty.
这场比赛呢，通过我和乔安娜的比赛，我收获了很多，尤其是潜能。
It's exactly what you want to see in a champion. Weili is answering the call. Wow,
arguably the greatest fight in mixed martial arts history.
遇到困难，我们要想着怎么样去解决问题，解决困难。
Fighting the level and caliber of fighters that I have throughout my entire career has prepared me for this moment.
Rose has done everything she can to prepare for this matchup and to ultimately become champion of the world once more.
This is my moment. Winning the belt will be like a culmination of my entire life kind of coming to a head.
I mean, one of the greatest fights I think we've ever seen.
It's one of the best fights I've ever seen.
And it just showed you the heart of these two women.
我觉得这场比赛肯定会是一场非常非常精彩的比赛。
Wow! Elbows up top. This is bad for Andrade. Is this the moment? Oh, my word! Zhang Weili makes history.
这次比赛呢，我准备了很多，Rose 她也肯定准备了很多，但是我觉得看谁做得更好，我觉得需要在赛场上再加。
I want this fight with Weili because she's the best, she's a champion, and I want to be the best.
Oh! Huge right for Namajunas.
Oh! Plain and simple, she's the champ, and I want that belt.
I am the champion. That is it! Thug Rose Namajunas!
因为在这一年里边，我努力做了很多的训练和工作，我相信在下一场比赛里边一定会展示出一个全新的张伟丽。
Well, there was a time a couple of years ago when Thug Rose Namajunas was sort of a reluctant UFC strawweight champion. She felt somewhat liberated when she relinquished the title to Jessica Andrade in the ensuing title defense after the Jacek series. DC, she told us this week she's always had the gifts, she's always had the talent, but she believes that this time around her preparation is the best that she has ever put forth, and that has given her a tremendous amount of confidence as she tries to prove that when she does her best, she indeed is the best.
The key word, John, was vision, right? Having a clear vision and understanding of what she wants and where she wants to be. And I think that is what's the difference between today and a couple years ago when she was the champion. She just understands and knows, I want this. I've been away from it. I've developed mentally to put myself in a position to handle all the pressures that come with being a UFC champion. She has always been one of the most talented fighters in the world. And when she is on her game, she is a sight to behold. It's like she's floating on air when she is in her zone. And I cannot wait to watch her compete against Zhang Weili.
Tonight's Prep Point is brought to you by Devour, the official frozen meal of UFC. Never just eat, Devour.
I think Zhang Weili is the perfect type of opponent to bring out what we love best about Rose Namajunas. Rose rises to occasion. She relishes challenges. That's what she's in the sport for, to find out what is her spirit. But who is she? Who is she when she's pushed? And we saw that in the Jacek fight when she won the title. We've seen it in many of her fights. But this is the culmination of all that experience. I think this is her greatest challenge, and I believe we're going to see the best version of Rose Namajunas to date tonight in the Octagon.
Of course, you have Trevor Weidman and Pat Barry entrenched in her corner as usual. She has also, the last several fights, gotten back to Greg Nelson to focus on the details. And of course, Chico Camus, former UFC fighter, tremendous athlete, who brings out the best in Thug Rose. So here is the undisputed UFC strawweight champion, Zhang Weili. 5-0 in the UFC. She has won remarkably 21 consecutive fights. And her head coach, Yuan Tai, said the hardest part for any mixed martial arts athlete, or any athlete for that matter, knowing how to control your emotions, your skills, and your strength. He's never met anybody, Joe, that does it quite like this one.
She has an amazing mentality, and it's one of the things that makes her so dangerous inside the Octagon. She has excellent technique. All of her technique is beautiful, but her preparation preparation, her physical preparation is extraordinary. If you watch her training footage, the intensity at which she approaches physical training, it's really terrifying. If you're an opponent and you're watching her, you're like, I have to match this?
Yeah, right.
Because it's so incredible with the effort that she puts into it. And it means so much to her. She understands that she represents a nation. She understands that her position as a champion from China, is so enormous. It's so unusual and so highly coveted.
You know, when I think about Zhang Weili, Joe, Zhang Weili got here at UFC 227 in August of 2018. By August of 2019, Zhang Weili was the champion in the UFC. Zhang Weili's only had about 5 fights in the UFC, and she has won the belt and defended the belt. She is a phenomenal mixed martial artist, and she captures the imagination of not only Chinese fans, but fans around the world. People tune in for Zhang Weili. They like her. That intrigue, that who is this lady? How did she come here so quickly and become what she's become? It's fascinating to watch the reaction to Zhang Weili, whether it's on an airplane, whether it's in the arena. People want to know about the young champion from China, and Zhang Weili is just phenomenal.
And that fight with Joanna Jędrzejczyk cemented her legacy. What a battle that was. I mean, I urge you, if you haven't seen that fight, folks, watch it. Go watch it. Because it was so incredible. At the end of the fight, there wasn't a single person sitting down.
Right.
Everyone was standing up cheering. It was incredible, and it could have gone either way.
Absolutely an important point there. Joanna Jędrzejczyk easily could have emerged with that decision. As far as this contest, Zhang Weili believes she can exhaust Namajunas, get her to a breaking point. But again, she'll tell you, my purpose is to improve, not necessarily to beat Rose. I'm trying to get better. We'll see which version she presents tonight. In her latest title defense, here's your tale of the tape. Zhang Weili is 31. Rose Namajunas is still just 28. Namajunas taller by an inch. Both fighters coming in half a pound below the championship limit. 2-inch reach advantage for the underdog, Rose Namajunas. All right, for the intros, back inside to Bruce Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, this championship bout is presented by Nemiroff. Bold character since 1872. Our 3 judges scoring this contest at Octagon side are Eric Cohen, Derek Cleary, and Howard Reichbach. And when the action begins, in charge of the Octagon is Keith Peterson. And now, this fight is 5 rounds for the undisputed UFC Strawweight Championship of the World. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, a mixed martial artist holding professional record, 10 wins, 4 losses. She stands 5 feet 5 inches tall, weighing in at 114.5 pounds. Fighting out of Denver, Colorado, presenting the #1 ranked strawweight contender in the world and the former UFC strawweight champion, the challenger, Fog Rose Namajunas. And now introducing the champion, fighting out of the red corner, a mixed martial artist holding a professional record, 21 wins, 1 loss. She stands 5 feet 4 inches tall, weighing in at 114.5 pounds. Fighting out of Beijing, China, presenting the reigning, defending, undisputed UFC strawweight champion of the world, Madam Chong Weili!
Bring it in.
Both of you received your instructions. Touch gloves if you like. Let's fight. Given all the adulation and adoration that Zhang Weili has received, I think she was a little bit surprised here on foreign soil to be greeted by those boos.
Welcome to Florida.
All right. I live here, Joe. Right.
No, you do.
Namaroff bold character since 1872. Rose Namajunas is in the blue. Zhang Weili in the black and gold, befitting a champion.
One of the things that we talked about, John, was the importance of Rose's movement. She's got to be light on her feet. She's got to create a lot of angles. Zhang Weili is a marauder. She comes forward and smashes, and she relies on that physicality, that power, that endurance, and that volume. I think Rose has to play the matador.
Early jab from Zhang Weili. Weili now with an inside leg kick, throwing hard early.
This is what Rose Namajunas has to do the whole time, Joe. She's got to be popping, moving side to side, not being a stationary target.
That's a nice jab.
Zhang Weili's throwing a lot of inside leg kicks to this point, and I think that is to slow down the movement of Rose Namajunas. These teams that are preparing these championship fighters are so smart that they understand that if Rose can be on her bicycle all night, she's very difficult to deal with.
And Weili has landed several of those inside low kicks.
She's so wobbly.
Zhang Weili is furious.
She's upset. 100%. 100% that's legit. Pat Barry's going crazy. Oh my goodness.
Losing his mind. Oh my goodness, that front leg kick. That front kick was nasty.
She's upset, but she was out.
Dude, she was gone.
She went flat. She fell back. Let's take a look at it. Look, she's the champion. She doesn't want to believe it, but it happens.
All right, this fight replay is brought to you by Namaroff Bold Character since 1872.
Look at that. Look at it. Move, feint. Bow! Right on the jaw. It's over. It's over. Then look, he gave her a chance. There's follow-up shots. It's over.
She's out.
It was over.
There's no doubt about it.
What a stop
she
it.
Needs to, look, now she's really realizing. She's realizing.
Oh, she's
hit herself in the head like, oh my God, what happened?
Because Rose
she was out cold.
Rose was constantly moving, right, because she was moving so much. Zhang Weili expected low kick.
Yes.
Kick went high.
My God, that was perfect.
I mean, when Rose Namajunas wins titles, she does it in there. Oh my goodness.
It's spectacular.
She does it in spectacular.
Look at this. Look at this again. Look at this. Look how perfect this is. Smack.
Oh my goodness.
Out cold. Doesn't know what's going on. Rose hits it with a hammer fist.
Well, it could be said, no one has lit up this broadcast booth quite like Thug Rose Namajunas. And it's thrill and agony as you see the initial reaction from Zhang Weili. Are you kidding me?
I mean, Thug Rose, I mean, come on. Could it be any better? Could it be any better?
That shit for years. You the best motherfucker. Ever. Who the best?
I'm the best.
Who the fucking best?
I'm the best.
You've been the best.
She was saying that before the fight to herself. I'm the best. I'm the best. And boy.
The official decision is brought to you by Guaranteed Rate. Guaranteed Rate can save you money on your monthly mortgage payment. Visit rate.com to get started. Here's Bruce.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Keith Peterson has called a stop to this contest at 1 minute, 18 seconds in the very first round. Declaring the winner by knockout and new undisputed UFC strawweight champion of the world, Thug Rose Namajunas!
Thug Rose, you shook up the world again.
I did it again, but God did it, man. I really just had to have faith in him, and that's what got me through. Whew. Whew.
You were so focused. Before the fight started, you were standing over there, and as Bruce Buffer was saying your name, you were saying to yourself, I'm the best. I'm the best.
I am the best. Yeah.
You certainly are. There's no doubt about that now. Let's take a look at the KO. You caught her with a left high kick off the front leg. It was perfect. It was about as perfectly placed as possible. She was upset and she was defending the stoppage, but that was just because she didn't know.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't see her moving. I wasn't sure if she was gonna come back from that, and just a couple of those hammer fists, and I felt like that was out.
Rose, there's some special moments in MMA, and I feel like I just witnessed a real one. You got me crying up here.
I'm sorry, but hey, man, all that stuff that was in the media and stuff, that was not my intent to ever personally attack her as a person. It's just my history and my past, and that's it. I love all people, all cultures, everybody in the world. And as a matter of fact, I want to build Earthship MMA academies around the world. I think that's going to be a solution to a lot of our problems in the world. So that's my plan.
Rose, amazing performance tonight. As always, it's an honor to call your fight. Thank you very much. Thug Rose, ladies and gentlemen, the champion of the world. And it was Zhang Weili. Give us your thoughts on the fight, on how it happened.
伟丽，你对这个比赛怎么看？你觉得刚才发生了什么？
我觉得我还可以再回来，我希望可以很快跟他打二番战。
I feel I can come back real quick.
不过我。
Once you saw the replay, do you feel like it was justified?
你刚才这个被击倒了以后，你回过神来，你觉得这个判决公平吗？
我觉得我觉得我还有意识，就被那个吹停了，我觉得太快了，我觉得我还有意识，我还可以。
She thinks she's still conscious. Referee stopped a little bit early.
Thank you very much, Zhang Weili. We look forward to seeing you again inside the Octagon. Zhang Weili, ladies and gentlemen.
And you can be sure, DC, it'll be quite an encore from Zhang Weili, but this will be a long trip home.
John, it'll be very disappointing trip home, but guess what? Like I said in the lead-up, she's barely been here for 3 years, right? She's got a ton of time, but boy, does the night belong to Thug Rose Namajunas. This young lady, you spoke to how difficult it is to win a title after you've lost it, to get it back. Rose Namajunas did it, and boy, was it fantastic.
What a moment for the Lithuanian American. This post-fight stat brought to you by DraftKings. Download any of the DraftKings apps to get in on the fight action. Just use code UFC when you sign up. DraftKings, you can bet on it. Joe, she is the first woman in UFC history to recapture a title she once held.
Wow, and wow, just the way she did it. And I know Zhang Weili just said I was still conscious, but she really wasn't. She really wasn't. She was out. I mean, it was a picture-perfect left high kick. You can see right there, she's completely dazed. And the way she's responding, she had no idea what was going on. Thug Rose just shook up the world.
Well, Joe, she even said it, right? She's like, I was going to say something, but then I forgot.
Yeah.
So,
you know, we just saw a magic moment, you know?
Yeah.
There's magic moments in MMA, and this is one of the things that makes the sport so beautiful, is when something happens, it hits you so... I was crying. I was crying.
Think like this, Joe. A couple years ago, we spoke to how she wasn't ready to handle the pressure of being a champion. You think she's ready?
All right, I'm here with the winner, Uriah Hall. Good to see you, sir.
Rose, I'm incredible. It fills you with joy to see somebody like Rose, who, by the way, sends me beef jerky that they make in their own house. Rose and Pat send me beef jerky all the time. So to see them they do this together.
Yes.
They do all this together. And to see the joy that Rose is feeling, fantastic.
And to see her teammate Justin Gaethje brought to tears and run into the Octagon to embrace Trevor and Greg. Just an incredible moment for incredible
How about Trevor
people.
Weidman, though?
They're
Right?
such good people.
Usman,
Yes.
Rose
Oh, my God.
Dude's got it rolling over there.
There's no doubt about it.
He's so talented, and, you know, what a great group of star pupils he has. But I feel like what we just saw was really special.
Yes, when she does her best, she is the best.
Thug Rose!
Rose!
the third round.
Well, you gotta think Machine Gun Kelly enjoyed that last result and lands a right hand of his own live on pay-per-view tonight. Wasn't ready for the comeback. All right, these locker room shots are brought to you by P3, the official protein snack of UFC. And up next, it will be our final order of business. It can be said there is finally respect on the name Kamaru Usman. He continues to present a better version with each passing title defense, as mentally tough a professional athlete as you will come across. And he's got a point to prove tonight in the form of a stoppage win. He'll try to get it against one of the best boxers and toughest outs in the sport. That man, Jorge Gamebred Masvidal, now with a full camp and his legs under him. We will see if he can capstone his incredible career with an undisputed UFC world title.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much. Uriah Hall, ladies and gentlemen.
And
You gonna do anything to get the job done?
Give me a name. We have a real enemy. He has matured so much to the point that, you know,
you need somebody like me, and there's nobody like me.
Uriah Hall to show that in that post-fight speech, in his...
Soon, only on Prime Video.
'61, presented by Devour, the official frozen meal of UFC. Never just eat. Devour. And these welterweight rankings are brought to you by Hair Club. Let Hair Club help regrow, replace, or restore your hair. Visit hairclub.com/UFC today. Love your hair. Live your life. So Kamaru Usman makes the quick turn tonight. He promises a statement-making win in this rematch with Jorge Masvidal, while on the other side, Gamebred believes the undisputed title is coming back to Miami.
Biggest fight on the biggest card for Fight Island has been officially postponed. Gilbert Burns is out of the UFC 251 main event against Kamaru Usman for the welterweight title. And now, on 6 days' notice, Jorge Masvadal will step in.
About a week ago, you weren't even on this card, and now you're fighting for the UFC world title.
If I am who I say I am, then I'm here to compete.
Having the courage on 6 days' notice to jump on a plane, fly to the other side of the world, 22 pounds over when he wasn't even in training camp, to have the biggest fight of his life.
20 pounds in 6 days. It was rough, but I did it.
I mean, that says everything that you need to know about this man right there.
Will there be a baptism? Will Masvidal break through?
Kamaru is walking into this fight, the man with the better gas tank that's had a full camp. But at the end of the day, this man's the champion for a reason.
The only reason this man took the fight is because it was on 6 days' notice, and he had a built-in excuse.
Whoa!
Wow!
Big takedown! Masvidal looking a little labored, certainly on 6 days' notice, more than understandable.
When you had the chance, you had a 6-day meet that obviously was in that type of shape, all you chose to do was a stalemate.
At the end of the day, he's pushed up against the fence, chipping away, scoring points.
There's no way in hell somebody that takes a fight with me on 6-day notice, I'm gonna let him walk out of there conscious.
No quitting Masvidal, that's for sure. But tonight belongs to Kamaru Usman, the Nigerian nightmare.
Guess what? It's not done. He's still running his mouth, talking about, oh, he broke my nose, stepping in on 6 days. Give you 3 weeks, he's gonna do something. He keeps running his mouth. If he's gonna talk, step in here and you gotta see me. I'll give you a whole training camp, because this time I'm gonna finish your ass.
Oh! There's a knockdown for Kamaru Usman!
Kamaru's trying to finish the show!
That is it! And still!
I am levels above everyone in the division. I am the undisputed champion of the world. Everything that I do is to be the best.
And there is a new record holder for the longest winning streak in UFC welterweight history.
Put some respect on my name!
I'm gonna step into the octagon and I'm gonna do what I do, and that's show the world that I am the king of the welterweight division.
With a full training camp, I know for a fact I'm the guy to give Kamaru his first loss.
Oh! Out cold!
I'm gonna break Usman. I'm gonna get in there and I'm gonna test his will from the very first second to the very last second. I'm gonna push on the gas pedal and I'm gonna hit him as hard as I can. He's gonna break, and when he breaks, I'm gonna look him right in the face and I'm gonna take his ass out.
Oh, what a finish for Jorge Masvadal!
You're a journeyman. You could have some success, but when it comes to being the elite, you fall short.
He knows I'm coming to shut his lights off. I'm gonna give it my all to Envy.
There will be no built-in excuse this time. This time, I'm gonna put the nail in the coffin and get that